I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, read a history book. Read a history book. Read any of the big revolutions, the big movements, the civil rights movement. Read what they did. Rosa Parks, oh, that was too performative. And what was her step two? No, her step two, Rosa Parks, it was a performative act. She worked for the NAACP. She was hoping to get arrested and that it would get national news. That was the point. And it's like, wow, they didn't change the bus laws just because she got arrested. No, but it sparked a movement. It got more people. What the Southerners, what the NAACP needed, they needed Northern whites basically to go, what? This is what, wait, black people are treated how? This ain't right. Literally, LBJ said in some of the White House tapes, he had phone calls and stuff. He said, I need people on camera and on TV. I need people to get sprayed with fire hoses and attacked by German shepherds. I need regular Americans to see what's going on in the South so that I can have them. I'll get enough pressure and will to push this. That's what a performative act it is. That's what all of these civil rights movements sitting at the lunch counters, they knew they were going to get harassed and food was going to get thrown on them. They knew they were going to get arrested, but they did it because it was a performative act. And the step two was, holy shit, get a bunch of people behind you. So the performative act of, I'm withholding my vote for Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House, unless you give Medicare for all, that will get major coverage. See, it's weird that AOC has like lost everything. Like, she didn't create the Green New Deal. It's been around for a long time, from the Green Party, Jill Stein, Howie Hawkins. I mean, these people within the Green Party have came up with this deal a long time, like 10 years ago, like when Obama was in office, maybe before then. I don't know the exact timeline, but it wasn't until AOC with her popularity started talking about a Green New Deal that it got attention. Yes, Fox News was talking about it. Oh, she's going to outlaw cows or whatever the crap they said, but they were talking about it. Prior to then, they weren't even talking about it. Climate collapse was always talked about in this, like, well, there's two sides to it, because a performative act of a young upstart congresswoman with millions of Twitter followers getting big interview time. She's young, she's attractive, she's smart, she's got a big social media following. Of course, she's going to get a lot of interviews. So she did these performative acts of talking about climate collapse, of talking about the UN study that came out in 2018 saying we have, if we don't do something by 2030, it's too late. She did that to get Green New Deal into the mainstream media. That was a performative act. So it's like, oh, don't even talk about Green New Deal unless you can get it passed, AOC. Do you see that? So this ridiculous, like, it's too performative, and this, oh, you're going to let Republicans take over the speaker. That's not how it works. That's bullshit. So these are performative acts. These are performative acts. These civil rights leaders knew they were going to get arrested. That's a performative act. Women burning their bras was a performative act, but it was forcing to get equal rights amendment, to get equal, legally get women more rights. That's what it was for. Rosa Parks, that was a performative act. Her step two was, I need to get arrested so we'll get more press on this. AOC and a handful, it'll bring shockwaves to the Democratic Party. Everyone will be talking about it, and everyone will go, yeah, we're in a pandemic. We need Medicare for all. So this notion that we got to wait for this and, oh no, Kevin Harrington will take over, is this more crybaby bullshit. You have no historical context of anything. Like, have you read a history book? It's unreal. So this performative act of forcing the vote is something AOC has done. AOC has done performative acts that have actually, do we have a Green New Deal? No. But she got people talking about it on a mass scale. Of course, she backs Joe Biden. She said she's not bothered by Biden not wanting to outlaw fracking. But this is the kind of pressure. She says these things. Don't think, okay, I voted for a Democrat, it's okay, or my representative is a Democrat, I'm covered. She says these things and then doesn't want it done to her. Make these politicians uncomfortable, but then she doesn't want it done to her. So we have to make her uncomfortable. We have to make the squad uncomfortable, mainly because the squad seems like the most receptive to pressure from their base, because let's be clear, we're their base. We're their base. They can't, I mean, they're going to try to treat us like what we're just like, oh, Republicans saying they're crazy socialists, you know, Omar's going to, you know, let terrorists take over Congress or whatever nonsense, you know, right-wing Fox viewers say. So we need to pressure them. We want Medicare for all. We're not backing down. We're not backing down till we get Medicare for all. Rosa Parks wasn't like, well, we'll let her sit in the middle of the bus or close to the front or give her a window seat in the back. She was like, no, we want to be able to sit anywhere. We are human beings like anybody else. We need to pay our best fare just like anyone else. We want to get on this bus and sit wherever the hell we like. I'm a taxpayer. You're a taxpayer. AOC is a taxpayer. Jeff Bezos, not a taxpayer, bald-headed cocksucker. So us regular people, we pay our taxes, and I want Medicare for all. I'm demanding you are taking my money when I buy sales tax, when I pay state tax, but mainly federal income tax. State tax goes to the state, but federal income tax, my federal income tax that I pay every goddamn year goes to a government that won't give me Medicare for all, but they'll bomb other countries. We just approved a $740 billion military budget. So I'm sorry, I want this. The vote for Pelosi is January 3rd. Go to forcethevote. I just put it in the chat. I'll put it in the chat. forcethevote.org. And I'm going to put this graphic up. It's in the show notes. forcethevote.org. Calling out when AOC was getting sworn in 2 years ago, right? She won November of 18, got sworn in January of 19. She live tweeted how at the freshman orientation for Congress people, they were spoken to by lobby groups. She goes, how come we haven't been spoken to by labor? That was a performative act, AOC. That was a very effective performative act. It got people to go, yeah, wait, the whole system's broken. You pulled back the curtain. That was a performative act. What was your step two? What was your step two? Pay attention, AOC. You're hurting other organizers. Did anyone say that to you? Maybe corporate Democrats did. Maybe people like Whoopi Goldberg did when they told you to stay in your lane when you started calling out Nancy Pelosi. But that was a performative act that you've done numerous performative acts, AOC. That's a performative act that you did that was effective. It got your supporters and your base and average Americans maybe that didn't know much about you or certainly didn't know how Congress works. Oh, this is what happens during the freshman orientation. I thought the freshman orientation was just like, oh, this is how you vote. You know, this is where the bathrooms are, you know, whatever. Like, this is where the break room is. This is the schedule of stuff. This is who your assistant. If you have a problem with this or this, if the air conditioning doesn't work, you talk to this person. That's what I thought it would be. No, you were spoken to by labor and lobby groups, and you called that out. That was a very performative act. What was your step two? Your step two was just to make people aware so people go, wait a minute, and rally around you. So saying we're holding our vote until we get Medicare for all because over 70% of all Americans want this. 72% of Fox viewers, 80-some% of Democrats want Medicare for all. So your step two is you're going to make Medicare for all happen one way or another. And if the corporate Democrats don't get on board, and then if the corporate Democrats do get on board, well, then you can pivot to the Republicans and go, what say you now? We're doing this. Our base wants this. Your base wants this. And then you know what? Republican voters can go, damn, let's pressure our voters. And then you know what we get is Medicare for all. So AOC, you need to do this because you've done it in the past. Support my show. Shave your knuckles for justice. Go to forcethevote.org. Sign your name. The vote is January 3rd. Put as much pressure on all these people. Pressure them Christmas Eve. Pressure them Christmas Day. Pressure them New Year's Eve. Pressure them New Year's Day. Pressure them January 2nd. And every day up to January 3rd. Make it uncomfortable for them. Don't let them have a nice holiday. Make it uncomfortable. I'm not talking about physical threats or anything. None of that. I'm talking about make them do this. Show them that if they don't do the will, because you ran on Medicare for all, AOC, You ran, everyone in the squad, you ran on this. You ran on this. I saw you speak at Bernie Sanders rallies. You talked about this. Don't back down now. Do this performative act. And the step 2 is you will have tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions, Americans on your back, ready to go. You're talking about over 150 some million people would want this in the middle of a pandemic. This ridiculous stimulus bill that you voted for, AOC, you voted for it. We all know you did. So do the right thing and do this performative act, because performative acts like this, big performative acts, actually invoke change. That's why we're still talking about the 3 guys at the 68 Mexico Olympics, the 2 guys, rather, the two guys doing the Black Power thing. We're still talking about that because it was in the middle of the civil rights movement. It was a performative act. That's why we're still talking about Kaepernick taking a knee. Everybody called him crazy. And now, 4 years later, oh, everyone's saying, oh, now the NFL's taking a knee. Oh, the NFL's got Black Lives Matter shit everywhere. See what Kaepernick's performative act did? I could go on and on, AOC. I could go on and on. ForceTheVote.org. Thanks for watching the show. Shave your knuckles for justice. Boom. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please hit the like button, the subscribe button. Go to patreon.com/Graham Elwood and rockfin.com/Graham Elwood, where you can support the show. Also, I have a Bitcoin wallet, a Bitcoin Cash wallet, and an Ethereum wallet in the show notes. We're taking cryptocurrency. I have a Coinbase affiliation link. We're going to be getting on some other exchanges. So that's how you support the show. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. YouTube is unsubscribing us at an alarming rate. I have a PayPal button at GrahamElwood.com. I even have a Venmo at Graham-Elwood. There's a lot of ways to support our show. We are getting crushed by YouTube. We've dipped under 73,000 subscribers because of YouTube. Thanks for supporting what we do.